Bella Vista Community Television presents Bella Vista and Beyond. Today our host is JB Portillo, and we will be talking about the Bella Vista Preschool and Creative Art Projects. And now, to the studio for our program.
Good morning, Bella Vista. It's time again for Bella Vista and Beyond. And I am excited today, because I'm always excited, because I have amazing guests. We have two today that's really going to be fun. And then we're going to talk about this eventually, right here, Froggy, and this wonderful little art piece. But for right now, I'd like to welcome Melanie Nichols.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, you know what? I've forgotten now how we got together, but I'm always excited when somebody new calls me or we talk or whatever. So what I found out about you is that you are the director of the Bella Vista Preschool.
Yes.
Tell us about you and tell us about the school.
Okay. Bella Vista Preschool has actually been here since 1978. It is located in the basement of the First United Methodist Church building on Boyce. A lot of people don't actually know we're here, but most people have seen our playground.
Oh.
It's on the hill up across from Tanyard. In 1988, so actually it was founded by the Ministerial Alliance, and so there were originally 7 churches on the board of directors. And in 1988, they wanted to pursue becoming an actual licensed preschool. And so they hired Margie Lewis as the teacher and director, and she still serves on our board as secretary. Oh. She held the position of director until I took over in 2016. And I have a background in education. I have a degree in elementary education, and I taught school in Kansas City and Siloam Springs. When my oldest daughter was born, though, I stayed home for a few years, and when she was old enough to start preschool, we found Bella Vista Preschool. And she attended there, and then my now 5th grader attended there, and when he was there, when he was there, there came an opening for a teacher in the 3-year-old class. And so I took that position and moved from there to assistant director and then director. And now my youngest is there now. He's finishing up preschool there this year.
Well, you're right. I had no clue.
Nope.
I didn't know that.
When you find out how long we've been there.
I know. This is really crazy. I think you brought some pictures today. Some
I did.
little activities
that
are going on. I think
Yeah.
they're in a few minutes. I think they're going to be on the screen. So, how many students do you have?
Well, if we're at
Oh,
Mac.
here we go. Look at this.
Yeah, so this is our playground, and some of our kindergarten students out there. We don't usually have a kindergarten class, but because of the pandemic and students doing virtual school this year, we offered a part-time play-based kindergarten this year with a focus on social and emotional learning and hands-on activities. So that was just a 1-year thing. We won't have that again, but of course, we do a lot of building, a lot of hands-on learning. We've got Legos. One of our students was building, I think, a house. Oh, no, they were making a marble run there. We've incorporated loose parts. Cardboard boxes are easy to find, and they're a favorite for stacking. Mm-hmm. We also have turned them into boats and cars. Another shot of the playground. We have some capes and pool noodles, and it's a great place to play superheroes and pirates and some of those things that aren't great for indoors. Cutting the grass with scissors.
What?
Some kids don't like art, but they'll take a pair of scissors outside and practice those fine motor skills while making some kind of nature stew or it's just a different way to encourage them to use some of those skills.
Nature stew?
Yeah, didn't you make stew when you were a kid?
No,
No?
I had made mud pies and made my brothers eat them.
Same concept, except we don't actually eat it.
Okay.
But grass, pine needles, we have a lot of pine trees, so there's an abundance of pine cones and gravel, and then they'll find some dirt and sprinkle on for seasoning, and we just...
You know what? It would be nice to be a kid again.
Right? Honestly, and that kindergarten class I mentioned, I'm teaching it this year. Uh-huh. So 3 mornings a week, I'm actively teaching instead of just doing the administrative stuff. And my absolute favorite part of the day is when we go outside.
Yeah.
And days like Monday, we were outside for over an hour. Days like today, I don't know if they'll go outside.
That's okay.
I don't know if they'll go outside at all.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, just love being outside, love the chance to play with the kids. It's probably the best part of the job.
Oh, I can only imagine. So, how do you enroll once a year?
Oh, yeah,
all year round.
You had asked about how many students we have.
Yes.
So, our younger preschool class can have up to 12, and then our older preschool class can have up to 15. So, if we're full, we have 27 students. Now, we don't have 27 students all on the same day. The way our program is structured is our younger students, whom we call caterpillars, they have to be 3 on or before August 1st. They come on Tuesday, Thursday mornings from 8:30 to 11:30.
Okay.
And then our 4 and 5-year-olds who are 4 on or before August 1st come on Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings from 8:30 to noon. So we use the same classrooms for both classes, but our older kids are there an extra day and a little bit longer day. So it's a half day. We don't do nap and we don't do lunch.
No nap? Boy, I want to go to that.
Well, but see, the advantage is most of our students are, we aren't a good fit for someone who works full time.
Okay.
Because we're a part-time preschool.
Right.
But for a stay-at-home parent or a grandparent who's keeping kids, we're a great fit for kids to get out of the house and play with kids, but then they still get to go home and have lunch and take a good nap.
Oh, good. Okay.
But yes, you asked about enrollment. So we have just opened enrollment about a week and a half ago, and we enroll starting in April, ongoing until we fill the classes.
Okay.
So we close for the summer and we open again the last week of August. Right now we have openings in both classes. And like I said, we don't have an end date. We just enroll until classes are full.
So if somebody drops out or you have an opening sometime during the year, then you would open up for...
Yes. If we have enough, if the classes fill and we still have people interested, we start a waiting list.
Yes.
And a lot of times, especially with our 3-year-old class, we will start the year full with 8 or 10 students. Just because a lot of them have never been away from home before and they're not familiar with the idea of preschool. And once we kind of get a feel for how that group meshes and get the majority of the group comfortable at school, then sometimes we add a couple more. So we always have we have the option of a waiting list if we have people interested.
So how did COVID affect you?
So last year, when Governor Hutchinson closed the public schools in March, our board of directors decided to go ahead and close our school as well. The state did not require child care centers to close, but because we serve more a function of a preschool than a child care, our board of directors decided to go ahead and follow his guidelines for K-12 schools. So we closed last spring. We have a Facebook group that's private for just current families, and so we used that to keep in touch with our students. The teachers would read a book on video and post it on Facebook, or we'd film an activity and post it on Facebook. So we were able to kind of maintain that connection.
Gotcha.
And then this year we reopened in August as planned. We have probably tripled our cleaning procedures, particularly because we share the space between 2 classes. We've been, really diligent in teaching the kids how to wash their hands.
Yes. Happy birthday or whatever it is they say.
And per licensing guidelines, all adults are required to wear a mask unless we're outside or we're able to maintain 6 feet of distance. So we set up our classrooms to where when the students are seated on the rug and the teacher's seated in the chair, we're more than 6 feet away. And that way the teacher can take their mask off, because during that circle time, which is not the main part of our day, but that's kind of an important time when students we're talking about emotions, or we're talking about how words and letters sound. And those are 2 things that are really hard to pick up on if you can't see someone's full face. So we were intentional in setting it up to where we could still, we could take our masks off and still do those things.
But the kids don't wear masks?
They are not required to wear masks, correct.
Okay. Wow. So do you have help?
So we have 3 employed staff, myself, and then there's a teacher for each preschool class. We also have volunteers, and so there's always 2 adults on site. This year our volunteers have been, because most of our volunteers are members of our board of directors, and many of them are retired. Many of them are retired educators. We do have a couple of parents whose students have gone on that still come back and help volunteer. But our volunteers this year have not been in the classroom as much as they usually are, and we're hoping next year that we can get back to having them in the classroom. One of the really, I think, unique things about the way our school is set up is that the students have the consistency of having the same teacher pretty much every day, but then they also have the variety of different volunteers that come in, because every volunteer brings something different to the classroom.
Of course.
You know, and sometimes we have some who would literally just sit with a pile of students on their lap and read books all day long. And then you have other volunteers who are like, ooh, let's see how big of a tower we can build, you know. And so the kids are able to develop a variety of different relationships because there's different people in the room, but again, they still have that consistency of the same main teacher every day, because that's really important at that age also.
So do you have to be a member of the church, or is it open to the community?
Completely open. In fact, of course, we have 2 members on our board of directors that are members at First United Methodist, but none of the rest of our board of directors, none of our staff. I think a couple of our students are right now.
Yeah.
You also don't have to live in Bella Vista. It is Bella Vista Preschool, but we're completely private. We don't receive any kind of city or state funds. And currently, we have students that live in Bentonville, Gravette, Sulphur Springs, Pea Ridge.
Really?
We have one enrolled for next year that lives in Rogers.
Well, that'll be a nice little trip.
It is, but we're super affordable.
Yeah.
And for some families who are kind of on that line of, I really want my 4-year-old to have this opportunity to before kindergarten, but child care, I mean, it's so expensive. Sometimes it's worth the drive to be able to meet that need without breaking the bank.
So let's go over how people can get a hold of you.
Sure.
You know, your telephone number, your
Yes.
email, your web, whatever.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
So
And maybe it'll appear here on the screen any second.
my phone number is 479-531-1149.
Okay.
You can also look up First United Methodist Church and call their number, but they will just give you my number.
Okay.
Our email address is bv, for Bella Vista, bvpreschool@gmail.com.
Gotcha. I think that's on the screen now. In case
And our website is, nope, I lost it.
yeah.
It's a longer one. It's a Wix website, but you can also find us on Facebook. Just search Bella Vista Preschool.
That's what I was going to say. You know, a lot of people now are going more to Facebook
Yep.
than they are websites
Yes,
anyway.
and then of course, if you find the Facebook page, then the link to the website's on there also.
Of course, of course. Wow, you know, I've been doing this a long time, but every time I turn around, I learn something new. Of course, at my age, I wouldn't be worried so much about a preschool.
No.
But it's so nice because everybody thinks Bella Vista is a retirement community. I think at one time it was, but not
But again,
anymore.
this preschool's been here since 1978.
I
So
know.
obviously there was a need for it even then.
Yes.
And what's really, because sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't know any preschoolers," but your neighbors might, or someone at your church might. And so the more people that we tell about our school, then they will tell, and it's that ripple effect out, and we'll find those people for whom this is the perfect fit for them.
And you know, Bella Vista's good about that.
Oh, yeah.
Sharing information
Yeah.
and things like that. You know, is there anything else you'd like to talk about the school? Because I'd like to say one more thing about some of the things you're doing.
Okay, yes, I just want to say, there's a lot of different types of preschools out there.
Yes.
And we are pretty passionate about being a child-led, play-based preschool, which is research-based and developmentally appropriate. Our staff is always, we each take up to more than 15 hours of professional development every year, and the majority of that is focused on how to provide the best opportunities for our students. And it's not worksheets and flashcards.
Okay.
We want to give them the opportunity to hold a pencil. We want to give them the opportunity to hold scissors, but we don't want to burn out on school before they start kindergarten.
I gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
And we talk to the kindergarten teachers from the local schools every year, and they tell us consistently that the most important things for kids to know when they start kindergarten are how to get along with others, how to be independent, and to love school.
Can we send some adults there?
Right?
I'm sorry.
You know, I have an 8th grader and a 5th grader, and I've been known to tell them, I think you learned that in preschool.
That's exactly right. You know, I could talk to you all day, but we can't. But I would
Yes.
like you to just quickly make an announcement because there's something else that you're about to do.
Yes.
Okay.
So I am running for the school board in Gravette. We live in Gravette. My children go to Gravette, and I'm obviously pretty passionate about education. I'm also pretty passionate about all things Gravette, and I decided to put those two together this year and make a run for the school board.
All right. Well, the best of luck to you.
Thank you.
And I think that decision is made on May the 18th.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to be right back, and we're going to be talking about all these things here on the floor.
As we go to break, take a look at Bella Vista earlier this week. Welcome back. Here is our host, JB.
Hey there, welcome back. You know, the last time, earlier in the show, I noted that, I'm sure you noticed, this really cool little frog right here. And the giant pencil. It's not a rocket ship, folks. It's actually a giant pencil. Okay, we're going to talk about that now because my next guest is a very interesting character. I don't know what else to say about him, and I'm probably going to really mess up his name, but Stephen Felbach. Mm-hmm. Did I get close?
Close enough.
Close enough. All right. Well, here's what I know, and he's going to tell you more about himself, but he's an artist from Eureka. Mm-hmm. And since I met you last, this has happened.
But got a little longer.
Yeah. So, Stephen, tell us about you, and then you'll get to all of this fun stuff we have on stage.
This is probably the best way to tell about me is this stuff because for the bulk of my entire life, doing some form of creativeness is just what I've always done. And so over the course of the last couple of decades, I've obsessed over it to the point of now it's what I do 7 days a week. It is my hobby, it's my life, it's my living, it's everything I do, everything I think about. And so that's what I do, besides for sleeping so I can do it again the next day. That's pretty much it.
So do you create things in your sleep?
Well, sleep allows you to kind of reboot, I think, and then you get to start over. But there's so many things you can. I love to collaborate with people because then you get their ideas, and then you kind of have the satisfaction, I guess, in that process is trying to figure out what do they see, because what I see and what you see are two different things, but we all got to come together, especially when you're working for somebody doing what they're seeing. And so I've always just done multiple things. Mm-hmm. So I do my own thing, but I'm always just creating. And kind of even in this last year, we've talked about the gardens.
Yes.
And I've just become, creative minds obsess a little bit. That's what they do. And so because and so I started gardening and then started building these garden sheds. And so it's like my latest hobby, if you will, my latest little addition to everything I do, because it's just it's building, whether, creativity lends itself to so many different outlets. And so it's such a usable thing. And so it's never ending for me, basically.
So you build things out of all kinds of materials. So tell us about that, because your sheds are not little bitty caricature things. They're sheds.
They're big, like garden sheds.
Yes.
Yeah. All materials are they're just that. They're materials, and so once you learn how they best work or how you can work them best, it doesn't matter what a material is. I mean, I have like an agriculture background where I grew up on a farm. And so, I mean, I was welding when I was a kid. I was, you know, I've been doing all these different materials all these years. And then for a little while, I got off into industry, running heavy equipment and being around, you know, power plants and big projects. And Dad had a sign shop at one point in my life. And so now I've just realized I took all of that ability and then I put it into creativity. So for me, I don't care what the material is, what are we trying to accomplish, and then what material best is going to suit for that project. So like materials, they're literally your wood, metal. These things here are actually it's the same thing Walt Disney.
Let's focus on the frog if we can here a minute, because this guy is so cool. His name is Hoppy. Is that what you said?
Hoppy.
Let's see if we can talk about Hoppy. Oh, look at Hoppy! And what's he made out of?
Well, it's a styrofoam, and then it's sprayed with a Line-X material. And Line-X is the stuff they put in bed liners. It's used in a roofing. Like it's such an industrial product. It's insane. And so for the longevity of it and the strength of it, and then it's painted with automotive paints. And so that's kind of what I've been doing in the last few years, kind of a theme park type stuff. Like I did some Bigfoots in Branson. There's a Bigfoot over in Eureka Springs at the Lake Leatherwood. And then the other stuff that's over here is the, Razorback Greenway.
Greenway, yes.
There you go. So there's a giant turtle over
trail.
there. Yeah, there's a giant turtle and big bugs, and the turtle
You did
lights
that?
up. Yeah, I did that stuff. So, and the turtle was kind of a step out because they wanted it all lit up.
Yeah.
And so you have to just, again, you have to kind of when you design things, you have to go from here and then go backwards and then go forwards again to figure out how are you going to make this thing last? And
Yes.
how are you going to build it and how is it going to work? And then when you build things like that, you want to be able to have access points. How are you going to repair it? You know, so all that stuff comes into to designing. And so it's just, I don't know, materials are just fun. All of them.
Oh, well, you know, my materials are numbers and, you know, things like that. And so it's not quite, so tell me about Hoppy. I'm obsessed with Hoppy. So where is he going? Is he just somebody that, is he a traveling companion?
Oh,
what is he?
at this point, probably. Yeah, he's just, every once in a while, I'll do pieces I enjoy. So I do different things. I constantly have multiple projects going on.
Okay.
And so I'm always working on something simultaneously with something else. And so sometimes I just kind of want to do something else.
Yes.
You know, in
Yes.
that mix, if I'm doing for somebody else, I want to do for myself. So I'll do, who knows? You know, the pencils were kind of like that, except they become very popular.
Well, let's talk about the pencils. This is a pencil, folks. Look at, if you can,
And it
look at
works.
the end of that pencil. Yeah, hold it still. That's actual chalk. That's chalk on the end. So tell us what you do with those and how much fun you could have.
Well, if anybody ever went and saw the concerts in Basin Park over at Eureka Springs just probably a couple years ago, they used to set in the park every weekend. I'd just go put them up there on the weekends and let everybody play with them. I originally built the first one, and it was just fun. And then I was like, how am I going to make that work? Because it's pointless if it didn't work, right? So I ended up figuring out a tip so it's interchangeable because it gets tore up pretty easy. You know, the sidewalk the chalk goes away so easy, and then people keep going, and next thing you know, the tips are gone.
Yeah,
So they're interchangeable, but they're just, oh my God.
Same sort of material as Froggy here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I stick to all the same types of materials. Once you find something that works,
you
know, you don't want to go back and do anything else. So.
Yeah. Are you going to build any art on the Bella Vista trails? You know, I know you've done Kohler and you've done some of those, they're fabulous. You working on that?
I actually got one right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't say where yet?
Well, it's I can't remember. It's Tweety
Bird.
Tweety Bird.
Oh, did you do that monkey ring?
No, that's not me.
Okay.
But we're about to do something right in that area.
Fabulous.
So, and working on it right now. So it should be in the next few weeks or something. We should be close to installing it. So.
And you're not going to tell us what it is. We just have to go over there and
yeah,
see.
somebody will just have to
see
give
it?
me a hand and say cheese when they go look at it and smile, you know, all that kind of
well,
stuff.
maybe we'll do that.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get the newspaper over there.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll make sure that
Okay.
they know about it because recently the master naturalist, a really great Michael, with the master naturalist, discovered about 106 tires, white walls, buried in the middle of Tweety Bird. So I worked with him, got the newspaper over there. We had a crew that took all those tires out. They've widened Tweety Bird now, so the trail's much bigger and it's clean. One of my guests before was actually a trail builder, and we got some of the invasives out, and that is fabulous that you're going to do something there.
So they seem like they put a lot of effort into that area.
Yes.
Because now I know why the opening was there, is the tires they found. Okay.
That's right. That's right. And we got the community together to get rid of those. So.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take away from that, but okay, I want to know a little bit more about your. I'm glad you're working on the trails, but your garden sheds, you're doing a lot of those. Tell us about that.
I'm doing a lot of different styles. I love doing different styles. I love utilizing materials that are not necessarily meant for certain things. So I like to find things to build these things out of. And so they've been called hillbilly chic, kind of like little Ozarky things.
Yeah.
You know, they're really just kind of, what I love about building them is when you walk up to them, because I'll put big sculptures around them, like giant morel mushrooms or giant flowers, and put bugs on the roofs and things. So when you go to them, it's like, you know, am I this big? Is that big, or is it that? So if you take a picture of it, honestly, you were talking about size.
Yeah.
If you take a picture of it, you wouldn't know if it's like a little toy, because you have giant bugs on, you know, and so it's just so much fun. But they're wood. I mean, I got a few pictures. I didn't bring any.
You didn't bring any jump
no.
drive,
But I've even done some hot boxes. I'm still learning on doing a greenhouse, I guess.
Oh,
I call it a hot box because it gets to 136 degrees in there, and I ain't got it all worked out yet, the bugs. So
Okay.
it was really fun. It was kind of retro, the angle with, you know, all the windows and things. So I just love the little, to me, they're like dual purpose, because even with the trails going on everywhere, they're doing like these little bunk sheds. And so these little sheds would be ideal for like little bunk areas type of things too. So it's like a mix. The garden is because I'm obsessed with the gardens at this point. So,
right.
and yeah, the gardens are endless. Like the gardens to me are full of these things. Like when you're in there and there's like little frogs, you're thinking, I need a sculpture now. You know, and so it's like, it's a garden, but it's not a garden. The sheds are just fun. Like I've for the longest time I've seen people have like sheds in their backyards, but they all look the same. And I just want to retrofit them. You know, I want to take what other people have had and just add a little bit something to them to make them look a little cuter, a little nicer than just what everybody else has got, or that simple. So, you know, there's that side of it I've thought of for a while. And so I just started designing and building my own here in the last few years. And now I'm just wanting to keep designing and building more.
I
you
understand.
Know, it's an addictive thing. It really is.
Yeah.
They're just fun little hillbilly chic is what somebody called them. And I'm like, that fits.
I really wish we had pictures, but I bet you have some on your website, right?
There or online or something,
Online?
I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we go over how people could get a hold of you? You know, your like phone number, your website. Can we do that? And we'll get it
Yeah.
on the screen as well. There you go. Look at there.
There's a .com.
Yeah. Okay, so that's your website. And you do everything like we talked earlier.
Whatever somebody wants to do creative, it just don't matter. And if nothing else, let's talk about it. And if I don't do it, that's cool too. Because sometimes talking about it is fun too. But then to apply how you know what you want to do and how you're going to do it. Yeah, there's
your
telephone
phone number, how to get a hold of you. And I tell you what, Eureka is such a unique place. You're in the perfect place over there because you've got so many like-minded people. And have you done anything new over there recently? I haven't been over there since everything was shut down.
Well, yeah, it was maybe a couple years ago. So I've been on the Mayor's Arts Council for a couple years.
Okay.
And right across from Basin Park, actually, there's a set of, the rainbow stairs that go down. So I did a bee and a vine and stuff that goes over the top of that, the three-dimensional bugs there. And I know there's been some other stuff. They're doing a project, the Arts Council is drains, like all the water drains. The art teacher and the students are doing just fun stuff there. That's been the coolest part about Eureka. In my travels, I ended up there trying to figure out where I might fit in, you know? And so I fit there, but what the coolest part about being there was you have people who are, like Larry Mansker is a buddy of mine, and I mean, he's 80 years old. He's been doing this stuff since he's been a kid. I mean, he's been doing this stuff longer than most people have been alive, and he's got such an ability, and he wants to help anybody who wants to try to do something.
Yeah.
So he is just a wealth of information, and J.D. Harris, the guy that builds some crazy the crazy house out north of town. I mean, these are people. There's so much information in that area of people that I've just like, ooh, you're my friend, you're my friend, you know?
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah.
just so cool to go hang out with these people and just what are they doing and what are they trying to accomplish and their ideas and how far out sometimes they get, you know? And I just love that.
Who did the Humpty Dumpty? I mean, he's been there forever.
I think it was a chainsaw carving guy. Yeah,
Which you've done.
I've done a few. Yeah. So they used to do chainsaw carving competitions in Eureka, and I think for the last couple of years maybe they've canceled them now. But it was one of those guys that come through, and I was told he's rotten.
Well, rotten egg, right?
Yeah, rotten egg.
Rotten egg.
So, well, they've been trying to get. I've been trying to talk to him about doing one that'll last much, much longer. Because wood, that's the thing about wood. You know, even if you treat it,
Yeah.
it's only gonna last a while.
Well, you know what? Our time's about up. But I
Okay.
tell you what, I've always enjoyed talking to you. And
Yeah.
thank you so much for the props today.
Yeah.
How fun is that? Even though the pencil kind of fell down earlier and made a laugh plop. But anyway, any last words? Just, hey, just come to Eureka and see what we're doing.
Oh well, come to Eureka, yeah, for sure. But
Yeah.
just this whole area is just fun.
Well, you keep up the trail stuff, man. If there's any way I can help you
Yeah.
progress with that,
Yeah.
let me know because I'm all about that.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I love what they're doing there.
All right. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
being here
thank you.
today. And Bella Vista, I always love talking to you. And I will see you next month, third Wednesday, and I will have even more amazing guests than I have now. Thank you.
Remember, you can see this program on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at various times. You may also view this program on YouTube.com by going to Bella Vista TV. This has been a presentation of Bella Vista Community Television. Thank you for joining us.